All right. Welcome back to Influential Dental, where we are bringing on some of the most influential people in the dental space in the world. And we're super excited about our guests today, who I will introduce in just a quick moment. And first of all, shout out to Michael Keeter, my co host. Thank you for being here today. I'm Julieanne O'Connor, and I'm so excited to dive into the personal journey and story of Dr. Aman Kaur. And I know I've heard people say it other ways, but it is Dr. On Core. See, now look, I'm messing it up. And she is a name, a face that we all know. We see you all over the place with women in DSO. And there's so many things that we want to ask you today. We're so stoked to have you on the show. You have a history in so many different areas and are a professional, from every angle of the DSO world. And then also you've created this amazing organization. And we'd love to just dive in and just say hello. Welcome to the show, first and foremost. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Julianne. When you say most influential people in dentistry and industry, I'm like, oh gosh, thank you so much for thinking of me. I feel like I'm still learning and still finding my way and talking about influential. You, Julianne, people admire you. I know Women in DSO membership, a lot of our mentors have been great fan of you from the presentation you have done. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's such a pleasure. And when I met you, I didn't know what to expect the very first time I met you. And you said the same thing. And I was so touched and so moved because all I've ever seen before I met you was you on stage, right? And then all of a sudden, I meet you, I introduce myself, and you're just like, man, I have so much to learn. And I just thought, wow, who even says that? It's so nice to hear somebody who comes from a place of humility who has hit your status because you have built an incredible organization. And so I would love to ask you a few questions about that. I mean, first of all, how many members do you have now at Women in DSO and how old is the organization?
So we are a young organization. Kind of we call ourselves healthy toddler. We are 4 year since we started. We'll be celebrating our 5th year at March 5th through 7th, our 5th annual conference, Empower and Grow. So we will be 5 years next year.
Yeah. So anybody who hasn't been to Empower and Grow, first and foremost, it's some of the best networking, some of the nicest people. And it's not just women. That was something that really surprised me is that you guys have been so welcoming to everybody in the space. So people who want to support women growing and being empowered in the industry, you have these incredible men that are showing up at this event as well, which was really impressive to me. Mike, you've been to the event, haven't you?
I haven't been to the event. I am going next year, but I've been to other Women in DSO events that you also spoke at. Obviously, I saw Dr. Kaur speak at Smile Together last week or 2 weeks ago as well. So I agree with you, Julianne. It's for everyone, and have also participated in various women as organizations and some other capacities. So I agree with you. It's for everyone, but definitely great that you have this organization, Dr. Kaur.
Yeah, and how I say it, Julian, it's for all the progressive leaders in dentistry. That's who come to empower and grow. And you asked me how many members we have. So we are approaching around 1,700 members, and they're across the globe. We have strong membership growth now in Europe and in Canada from last year. So we are seeing a lot of our growth coming from overseas, but still, what's vast majority are from United States. Yeah, it's we're getting there. We're still figuring it out, but definitely want to get there.
Yeah, so you have actually put on some events in some other countries too, right? You're not just doing this in the US. So that's how you're getting your growth right now is because you're actually putting on those events, or is it just word of mouth and the reputation that's spreading?
Yeah, because this mission is so universal. Women are, 85% of dental industry all around, dental offices, dental groups, DSOs, and when we go into even large dental vendors, they have very heavily dominated by women. So it's very universal. And our mission is to get more women into leadership positions, not just in DSOs, but across the dental industry. So because of the global nature of the mission, we always had members from overseas and events. That's how people see us, but that's not all we do. And I think, Julian, you know firsthand as a member, our big part of our program is our association's mission is education and mentorship and our wellness initiatives to make sure people are living well-rounded lives. So most people have joined us through our programs and through the word of mouth. And then we have done these events because one of our product of our organization is our community and how they come together. So we needed to give our members overseas something similar to United States, and that's what led to events.
Yeah, love it. So I'm curious, like, where are you from and what got you into this industry? And, like, what made you decide you want to be a dentist and what's your background? I'm kind of curious about you personally.
Probably I've talked about me so many times. So all the audience who have heard this story before, forgive me. But I always knew I wanted to be a clinician, and I just landed into dentistry. I've been in DSO space for a little over 17 years. If someone asks me, where have you come from? I feel like I have grown up in DSO industry, learning from everyone how it all started. And DSOs were not all that popular and all that welcomed many, many years ago. But now, as we learned, it is a great thing for patients. It's a great thing for dentists. It's a great thing for the workforce with the career opportunities and the quality control measures for patients. So I wholeheartedly believe dental service organizations are the future of dentistry. As throughout my career, I worked for many DSOs. I've been very fortunate to be in leadership positions. But as I was in leadership positions, I noticed across the aisle or in the other organizations, many women were lucky to get to those leadership positions. I believe if we are close to our consumers, our leadership represents our workforce, it represents our consumers, we are bound to make better decisions. And I just felt there's an opportunity to get some of these talented women known and seen, create visibility around their genius. And that's where we found Women in DSO.
Nice. Mike, you're so quiet today. What's going on?
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, I'm learning about you, Dr. Kaur, and your journey. And again, I've been to a few of the events, Julieanne, where you spoke. And I want to turn back to the mentorship program because I was in one of those events. And what I really enjoyed about that is the community. And as you mentioned, Dr. Kaur, just women helping women in leadership positions, sharing their stories, but being mentors. And I think that's huge in this industry and many others is to find a mentor, to be able to speak to that mentor and have them guide you. So I really do love that that is part of your mission of your organization is education. So can you talk a little bit more about the mentorship program and what that means for women who are getting into those positions or aspiring to level up to those?
Yeah, I might sound biased, but I do believe dental industry has some of the nicest and talented people around the healthcare industries. And dental industry folks have always been very helpful. I have received so much help throughout my career in this industry. But when it comes to mentorship, a lot of companies try to do these programs, and we all are busy people too. And there's constant decision fatigue. There's so many people demanding our attention. So having a well-structured program with a strong accountability for mentors and for mentees is been the driving force for our mentorship program. And that's our mentorship program, we do 3 cohorts every year. And every cohort, when we started 4 years ago, we were only holding 20 mentees. This cohort we just launched, it had 70 people, 70 people. It has grown significantly, almost 70 people in just one cohort in a year. It's been amazing to see this growth. And why mentorship matters. There are 2 folds to education. One is just learning from an education resource. We have a largest education content library built around all functions of DSOs. But then when you have a question, you want feedback, you want to ask a question. And that's where we felt mentorship was essential. So we launched that.
What kind of advice do you give out of curiosity to somebody who comes to you and they're like telling you that they want to grow quickly, or they want to grow rapidly and, they want to scale and they don't know how to approach that? I mean, you've been on the consulting side, right? And I presume everybody comes to you for advice, right? And this is one of those things that we get frequently is like, how do I scale? How do I grow? And they're competing with everybody else out there. What, any
Yeah, it's
advice?
so when it comes to DSOs, yes, that's like my that gets me excited. I have spent my entire career running DSOs. Women and DSO is an association, and I'm learning as we're building this plane as we are flying it. But dental service organizations, what I've seen is the word scale is so misleading, and I have seen people making a lot of bad decisions under the name scale. And those decisions typically have been putting cart in front of the horse. We are going to scale, and then they budget all these revenue goals, and then they budget similar costs under the name of scale. So costs happen, but revenue may or may not happen. There is not those check marks throughout. So I think if anyone wants to scale, be very diligent about it. And then having those check marks, if you're planning to invest into something, you need to hit certain benchmarks. If you're not hitting those benchmarks, you should not be making certain investments. And then if you are all out from the right beginning of it, no checkpoints, no KPI markers, that's when it doesn't scale. And then sometimes good ideas, bad timing, bad execution plan, bad owner can make a good idea, not so good idea. So, they say everybody has a plan until you're hit in the face. So get hit in the face and then be ready for it. So that's the plan you all need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great analogy because you're right. Until you really face adversity or get hit in the face, you don't know what you're in for. A follow-up question on that, Dr. Kaur, is something is the human capital, right? The human person, the team. What is the importance of that dynamic in your estimation, not only for the DSO, but in general in dentistry regarding the team and regarding people within the organization wanting to achieve more together?
Anyone who is in dental industry, even if they're a vendor, they're a small dental practice or a large DSO, they all are in people business. And all these successful organizations live by that mantra that we are in people business. And then when we call we are in people business, you cannot take them for granted. A lot of organizations talk about this customer obsession culture. Amazon has it. They exemplify it. They're obsessed about their customers. And I think in dentistry, we are in people business. We need to be obsessed about people because if your teams are happy and excited, your patients will feel it. And we all work in this profession, arm distance, like people's really intimate, their faces, their smiles are so intimate and personal to them. You wake up to that. We all wake up to ourselves in the morning and we want to give people something they're excited to wake up to. So that's their smile.
So we love to give our listeners something tactical. So out of curiosity, I mean, when you talk about, let's say, the culture or motivating a team, what are some ideas that people can implement? Because we see this constantly where there's so much disconnect between the front office and the back office, and in the DSO space where people are trying to figure out how do they even train the teams when they have so many locations, they don't even know where to start. And even some of the big DSOs are struggling with this, right? How to and they have these great training centers sometimes. So any suggestions on tactical things that people can do that they can think about or be conscious of?
So first thing is, I think that struggle is the journey. As soon as you feel like you got it, you got to start again. It's one of those things. As soon as you hit it, it starts again. It starts eroding on its own. So being open to that and then having that lever in your mind that I am never going to have 100% of people 100% of the time happy. But what is that minimum threshold I must have. And then when it goes beyond that, it is a red alarm going off. We got to fix it. So coming up with that is, I think, essential, because sometimes we all know people who get the ear may not represent the majorities of the interest. Developing that threshold, being honest to that, is essential. So, and then a lot of people will say, culture is this or that, but culture is what you model, not what you preach. And modeling good culture is like raising kids by doing what we want them to do versus telling them what we want them to do. It's a different thing. And we all know as kids, they do what they watch us doing, not what we ask them doing. So employees, our team members, our peers are exactly the same. When you're modeling, that's where also you want to say kind of how much of a wiggle room I am okay with it. If I'm okay to see 20% of the wiggle room in my team members, I have to do it at only 5%, because they're already going to have their perception of that one moment as something you always do. So I think that's kind of like you're holding yourself to higher standards is what I'm saying. But that's essential. And second thing is culture, whatever you want it. They say if you can name it, you can tame it. So if you name it, what kind of culture I want, that culture very well might be, I want culture of hard work. Name it. That's what we are. In our organization, people who work with me, they know if I have to watch their work and follow them around, it's not working. We have a culture of hard work. That's what we have. So just can name it, whatever it is. We have culture of accountability. We have culture of making money, whatever it is. Name it. Don't hide behind it.
I agree with that, Dr. Kaur. I think naming it and owning it and leading by example goes a long way. And whether that's from the front or side by side, or sometimes you have to lead from the back, it's okay. But I love that, naming it and also spelling it out. So I do appreciate that. Before we continue, I just wanted to thank American Dental Institute for being supporting this program and being a partner in this podcast, Influential Dental. And again, Dr. Kaur, for having you on here talking about women in DSO and your journey. So again, thank you. What I'd like to ask from you is, our podcast is called Influential Dental. Who has been influential in your journey, whether as a young woman, a young girl, or now as an executive in a very rising, powerful organization? So that would be my first question: is who influences you? And then what makes someone who is someone to look up to in your mind, or how do you portray yourself, or how do you influence yourself? So again, who's been influential in your life, and then how do you influence others?
So I have, Michael, too many people who have influenced me, mentored me, coached me, and that list has grown over the years. And these are not the people I go to for all solutions. They're really good at A, but some of them are not really good at B. So I know when to not ask them that question.
Well, that's good.
Oh, yeah, we all have our own biases, and I believe we become, victim of our success, because once something has made you successful, you want to do everything that way. So you just gotta kind of know when to not use the same advice and apply it universally. So it has been, my parents have always had strong influence over me. My very, very hardworking, ambitious parents, extremely hardworking, because they can give me a run for my money even now. My teachers throughout my school have had strong influence, and I always wanted to be the chosen one for my teachers and all that. That's what I've strived for. So that's been, and once I got to that, unofficial advices from those individuals, from my school principal and teachers, those have been the foundation for me in my career and in our industry. I can't name one. So many people: Stanley Berkman and Brian Kaleo, Teresa Shakurki. There have been Petra from Strawman. A lot of people. I can't even name one, but it's kind of like I look at them as my executive board of directors that I work with for different things. And Rama has been strong influence. And then I have had always a lot of team members who have worked with me. Kathleen Titus. Oh gosh, there's so many. I can't name one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I love
no, that's amazing, and I agree. And what you mentioned is you don't have to go to a particular person for everything. Pick what you need out of different ones and use them as your own. So I've done something similar. And Julian, you had a follow-up question regarding that?
Well, I mean, there's so many questions I have, and you mentioned Brian Kaleo, and he was definitely after we had him on the podcast, he had said you got to get her on the show, get Dr. Kaur on, and I think he made the original email introduction for me to you. Actually, such an incredible guy who built his career on just helping people, lifting people up, which is really the foundation of our brand, Influential Dental. Was we just wanted to bring on people and lift up people who were lifting others in the space. That was literally how we came together and formed this brand. Is let's just work with these incredible people who are lifting others up. But one of the things that a lot of times what happens is we see these people who are so successful, right? And you're one of those people that we look up to, everybody talks about, and we don't know what you've overcome. And so we start, it's almost like you become sort of untouchables, that mystical person who we're like, gosh, did she just, get a leg up from everybody and she never had to work for it. Obviously hard work is meaningful to you, but share with our audience, is there anything that comes to mind, like pivotal moments in your career that made you go, wow, I really need to look at something else, or where you struggled, and so people know that you're human?
Gosh, no, people who I am very basic and gosh, I'm honest. I have not to figure out. I know I've overcome a lot, and I'm constantly overcoming a lot on everyday basis. Because there's always a new challenge. First and foremost is like I had to get out of my own way. So that's where you start. And then you started that. And then everything is like when you go out and say, I want to do this, everyone asks you, why do you want to do this? You have to go and answer like, why not? So there's always something like this. You're constantly overcoming your non-believers, your industry, even the people you're planning to benefit. Everybody doubts in the beginning. And because when people haven't seen something you're about to create, people think, oh, life is working just fine. Why do we need an iPhone? Unless once they see it, can't live without it. So it's just kind of you have to overcome all those things constantly. And if you become slightly successful, someone wants to copy you or erode you, there's always going to be competition. Yes, it's like greatest form of flattery, but nonetheless pain in the neck. So you have to kind of constantly reinvent yourself, and you have to overcome your success. You have to overcome your failures. You have to overcome complacency. You have to overcome sometimes what your team says, hey, this is our brand, we shouldn't change. Then you have to talk to them about how to evolve. It's constantly, I believe resistance is a good thing. It gives you momentum. If you're on a flat road, you're bound to be stuck and standing there. So resistance is a good thing. I welcome it, and it keeps us awake.
I love that. Any great influences from the standpoint of, like, let's say books, or anything that stands out that's really been pivotal for how you look at things and how you approach all of this stuff that we're talking about?
Yeah, so I am constantly looking at something new, what's out there. But one of the things that has been constant in my life and for some years is I do study a lot about behavior economics, and how we can be human beings are not logical people. So we are very occasionally logical. Generally, we are illogical people, and so it just kind of so I do explore that area a lot. There are a bunch of TED Talks and podcasts I do study. But if you look up behavior economics, there are a lot of books out there by Daniel Kahneman, Dan Ariely. There's another book that is compilation of a lot of books. It's called The Art of Thinking Clearly. That brings a lot of good parts from a lot of those things.
Love it. I know you've got more questions, Mike. I don't want to dominate this, but I'm super grateful because this is really helpful, just to, first of all, it's got me thinking about, I love psychology. I love, the just the human interest story, and why people behave the way they do. All of this is so up my alley. But you're managing not just one team, but you have teams in multiple areas, right? In your career? So you're juggling a handful of things, right? How do you handle that when you have multiple companies that you're thinking about and dealing with, and you're trying to apply these principles that you're learning to managing these different teams? I mean, you must have some incredible people that are your right-hand people that are helping you with execution on some of that. Is that the case?
Yeah, I no, I've been very fortunate. I have always good team members. They keep me in straight line, and I sometimes I get in their way. So I need to do better job at not getting in their way. So working on that. And then I think what works for me is sometimes it's not all the balls I'm juggling, which one to catch is which one to drop today. So it's like, okay, this is not earth shattering, how reversible it is and how much I can manage. There are some of those days I wasn't good at it, but I have become better at whatever we call it, like now self-love, and just that I'm not going to be good at everything and I'm okay with it now.
Love that.
Yeah, Dr. Kaur, question I have is women in DSO has been on a trajectory the last few years that you've been aboard, really getting new membership, reaching more people, your mentee and mentor programs. What is next year as you're wrapping up this year? What is next year's goals, and what does that look like for you and women in DSO as you continue to move the organization forward?
So it's been an ongoing challenge to keep growing women dominated organization. When we started 5 years ago, I think everyone wanted and thought it to be a small women's group who get together and just kind of like have a small space for them in one corner. That is not what we wanted, because we wanted women to be at the center of the action, and them bringing their expertise, bringing their professional genius together and elevating the industry. So, in order to keep doing what helps the industry is going to be the key for women and DSO's growth. We started with the DSO industry and have expanded to people who interact with the DSO industry. That has been entire dental industry. And our next year's biggest focus is on our women dentists graduating from dental schools and the women dentists who are in workforce, to make sure they don't get the short end of the stick. They have a ally and a partner in their professional journey. So a lot of our focus is around our dental community for next year. And we want to make sure they have resources as they enter the industry, the resources throughout their career.
Incredible. I love that you're addressing some of the people coming into the industry. Mike and I are doing some of that as well. At some point, we might want to talk to you and collaborate with you a little bit, because so we can spin off some of our people to you and what you're doing with that. Because they definitely, one of the recurring themes that we're getting is that these people, they don't even know where to start when they get out of dental school. And even you go out, we get invited to speak at some of the dental schools, and when we're there, they're so deep in clinical. There's no conversation around how to run a business. There's no conversation around any of the soft skills, and there's so many different things that are lacking. And then they literally say they feel like they kind of get spit out on the street and they don't know where to start. Some of them want to buy practices, some of them don't know how to do negotiate their contracts. Nothing that you don't know, but if you have something to support all of that, definitely it's going to be such a gift to this industry, because you haven't seen that done well in this industry.
Yeah, you know what? There's something it's called advice monsters. So there are so many people sometimes out there giving people advice. And it's kind of like, so I want to have a curated people who are going to give advice, because, you don't want something mediocre to multiply. So you want right things to multiply at exponential level. So I think that's where I am like, you want the right advice, and not someone who was successful with different set of conditions at certain point in time. If you got to be looking at who you are listening to.
Well, I agree. And that goes to what you're talking about earlier about yourself. And I agree with that about always evolving, always looking to get better, always looking at change and welcoming, the path that will change to make you a better clinician, but also a better executive as well. So I do think that's important for young dentists and young women coming in, is to know that, yes, there will be those ups and downs, but there are organizations like Women in DSO. There are people like you and Julieanne and other women that are very successful to look up to, but also to be those mentors and to provide that advice and that direction, because you obviously care, right? And having this conversation with you, obviously you care. Julianne cares. And I met a lot of successful women in dentistry that do care and want to give back. So that is admirable that
Yeah,
you
it's
have that mission.
actually, for example, I think what happens is, like Julian, you talk to so many people. You know when some of what you can filter through, and it's success is like a ratio of how many passes you take. And when you're talking with 100 people, you know which 3 people are telling what's gonna cut it. And I think that those things are important. And so my worry with dental students is sometimes they hear first time speaker or someone just one time, and they leave them with very impressionable comment, but it's not so relevant 20 years later in their life. And it's like, oh my gosh, they hurt themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I have just going to switch tracks because we go there in these conversations sometimes. I'm curious because burnout is such a topic of conversation nowadays, and some people have different ways of looking at what does that really mean. Some of us, have figured out how to navigate it. Some people don't believe it's real. It's all these different conversations around the topic of burnout. I am curious what you do for fun, number one. And how do you prevent yourself from burning out, given the fact that you're so all over the place and you've got so many different things going on and you're so calm? You come across so calm.
Very kind. I wish I was that. That's all that was true. But I believe in burnout, and I think people are burned out even if they wake up and don't do anything. It's the overstimulation, and so much information is thrown at us. We like it or not, it just there's just so much. And even if sometimes you wake up and making certain choices, what to eat, what to wear, what to go, where to stop for gas. It's just a lot of choices. There's constant decisions that require just to exist today. So the burnout is real. It can happen to us at different points in life. Having those things that excite us are important. And for me, if you'll ask me, I don't have that many today, but I try to work out enough. That's something I can do religiously. I do have some guilty pleasure Broadway shows I like to catch if I'm in New York or something, and then local bands, and spending time with friends and family. It just kind of helps me decompress.
It's so simple, right? It's like the arts. It's just being with your friends and family. You're not saying anything lavish like, "Oh, I get to Tahiti every, 3 weeks," or, whatever. It's the simple stuff that, right, the mindfulness of just giving yourself, filling yourself from another direction that's outside of what you're usually doing. Are you still having a blast? Are you having fun doing what you're doing?
Yeah, you know what? I am, and I'll tell you, when sometimes that I don't like to make this self-care be work. And oh my gosh, I can't do this. I need to go to the spa day. Then self-care is work. So those things don't fill my cup as much. So it's just whatever fills my cup. And sometimes, it just meeting someone meaningful, and you have done so much for our mentorship group. Being able to thank you in person, I felt so good about it because we were not able to connect during that breakfast. So I think small things sometimes leave your cup more filled than you have planned or expected. And yeah, I do have fun doing that.
Amazing.
Yeah, but to pick up where Julian left off on that, and that's some great advice, not only to women in DSO, but we talked about students coming in, so on. It's just little things, right? Take little moments and really enjoy them and be present. So thank you, Dr. Kaur, for sharing that. And Julianne, I'm going to turn this question on you a little bit because Dr. Kaur has brought this up, and I've seen you speak at the Women in DSO mentor mentee breakfast and saw your interactions with the organization and know some of the women that are part of that. So, Dr. Kaur, that is a fabulous program that you have going on there. But what does that mean to you, Julianne? Now you're on the spot. Mentor and to mentee and to have mentees that look up to you or want to talk with you through Women in DSO.
I'm actually really glad you asked that because it's been super powerful for me to have the opportunity to mentor because the mentees are a mirror for me. And it's like, I don't think it matters which side you're on, if you're a mentor or you're a mentee. You get so much out of interacting with these incredible women in this organization. I have built some of the most incredible friendships. I'm collaborating with so many of those women now. And they have inspired me beyond description with their own goals and their own obstacles and things that they have now overcome. I've seen women literally that I mentored where one day they were very dissatisfied in their careers and now they're on stages and having a blast and you see their light come back on. And I kid you not, it turns mine back on as well. And you just started a new cohort and I just got paired with two mentees and they're incredible people already. I'm just so excited. So I'm really, really grateful for this program. It is a gift to donate time to it. And I want to take the other side of it too, because I have so much to learn and I have my own goals. Right. So I think it's awesome because it's a two-way street and it doesn't matter which side you're on, you get so much out of it. I think it's phenomenal and it's so well organized through Women in DSO. Anybody can come to Empower and Grow. You don't have to be a member. But if you're a member and you get involved in the mentorship, I really just encourage people to be involved in it because it's phenomenal. So, where can people reach you and how do they get involved? They can register now, right? It just came out. I think that they can start registering for Empower and Grow.
Yes, actually, people can register for Empower and Grow March 5th through 7th. And then we have our Canadian DSO Summit on first week of May. And then our Global DSO Summit is in June, 1st and 2nd in London, Royal Lancaster Hotel.
I want to go that
All
way.
yes, all registrations are open, and we are expecting at Empower and Grow around 1,000 attendees. We are ahead of our registrations for this year already, and so I look forward to seeing everyone at Empower and Grow. It's our 5th-year anniversary. It's a big deal for us, and we want to um, take few things in our own hands around our mission to get. We will have some surprises to see create an opportunity for women to get to those leadership positions at our event. So we are really looking forward to our conferences. Yes, so womenindso.org. You can't miss, all the events are available on almost immediately.
And it happens, the one that you have here in March is in Vegas, right? Which is
March 5th through 7th, Caesar's Palace, Vegas, yes. And we try to do always our conference, Julieanne, around International Women's Day. So that's been our mission from the very early on. So it's always March, and we try to do Vegas. It's kind of like good time to shop and update your wardrobe or take a break and nice weather. So that's been our thing every March in Vegas.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite events to attend. So it's beautiful. I love it. I look forward to coming back. I meet some incredible people every single time I'm there. It was so much fun last year to see the couple of women who co-hosted it, who I know both personally, who were phenomenal on stage and made it so much fun because they were just so vivacious and funny and just it's a really good event. It's really well done. So I'm totally impressed what you guys have created.
And I would encourage everyone to attend as well, that think progressively and know that women are responsible for the success within dentistry, and influential dental will be there as well. So I encourage everyone to go to Las Vegas, and that's a short trip for me from Phoenix. So that'll be easy to attend. And then Dr. Kaur, how can people reach out to you directly, either through social media or, you want to give out any other information regarding on how women in DSO, or I'm sorry, women that are looking to join the organization can do that?
So, Michael, I don't have any other social platform except LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn, Aman Kaur. And my email is Aman, AMAN, first name at womenindso.org. Send me an email. Our website has links. So if you all just send us a note, our team is really good at getting hold of me, and then I will be in touch. Yes, Aman at womenindso.org, or LinkedIn is primarily I'm on. I will be on Instagram. I have been told by my team I will be on it within a few months.
Your team has done a good job with Women in DSO on Instagram for what it's worth, for
Yeah,
the
they
main
have done
page.
tremendous job. I think
Yeah.
for us, we have the largest following of any dental organization. For as young we are ahead of a lot of other organizations and very engaged and passionate communities. Uh, our webinars um, on our content, even though it's we get 70 to 80 live participants. So it's been amazing to see how much people attend that.
Yeah, phenomenal. So, is there any last just piece of advice that you can give to maybe women or men both tune into our podcast that might just leave them with a little hope and excitement for the future for 2026? Given that there are a lot of things going on in the world and a lot of things that people are navigating, and there's definitely, I mean, Mike and I have had some really interesting clients that have come our way recently who are really, really struggling. We usually deal with the most influential people. And to see some people coming our way now for mentorship and help on the flip side of it, and you're seeing that there's some themes that are happening out there where people need to know they're not alone, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
advice?
I think it's. I wish I was that intelligent to give advice. I'm right there with everyone, but I at the same time I feel this is looks challenging, but it is the most exciting time in dentistry. I want us to look forward with excitement. These challenges are going to help us be sharper because in the past we had access to capital, capital was cheap, and we overextended ourselves under the name of scaling. But now we have to scale, but be efficient. And our workforce wants something different and better. They want personalized, individualized experiences. And how lucky we are. AI showed up. So use technology, make it your best friend, and don't try to fight what future generations need or why that they should be just wanting what 10 generations before them were okay with it. Meet them where they are. You gotta meet people where they are. Use technology, and then our future generations are gonna make us better. Because of them, we are going to think deeply about our decisions and not take those short-term instant gratification.
I love that. Mike, anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, Dr. Cora, I very much thank you and getting to know you on this podcast and look forward to attending many more Women in DSO events and supporting your organization because I believe in your mission and what you're doing, not only as women progress and do deserve to progress through organizations and continue to lead from the front, but then also the rest of the teams and so on. So I give you props on that. And then also, Julieanne, your involvement in the organization, seeing it firsthand as well. I know what that's done for you and you'd share that with us. So again, thank you both for having me on the podcast and thank American Dental Institute for supporting this podcast.
Yeah, and I
Thank you
just
so
want
much
to,
for having me. Yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you, Dr. Kaur, so much for being here. It was such a pleasure. And just a quick where you can reach us. You can find us on social media at Influential Dental and also our website, influentialdental.co, if you want to get a copy of Influence Magazine or you want to check out some other stuff that we're offering in the Influence Den and some of that. But please, follow what they're doing in Women in DSO. It really is truly amazing. And, just to see an organization grow like that and still pull it off without noticing any of the sort of pain that usually comes with growth. You guys have either hidden it well or you've just done it really well. So thank you so much, and thank you to all of our listeners for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you and hearing you on the next podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.